Hello, everybody. Waterbury here with a quick message. I want to talk about healing and the triple goddess theme. Okay. I'm always reflecting. I feel like that's my whole life. I'm a life path number 7. Okay. About spiritual seeking and questioning. So I stay questioning and searching and looking for answers and meaning in things or whatever. Also, please mind the rain. You know I love being outside, and it is like storming right now. Um, so I hope you can still hear me. Hopefully, you can still hear it fine. Um, but I was thinking, and if you don't know from previous posts or you're new to watching my videos, welcome. Um, but this past year has been extremely transformative for me. Very uncomfortable, uncertain. About the beginning of 2019, I guess, or the end of 2018, I would say, I basically asked Spirit, like, look, been very grateful for the growth in my life, for where things are going, but I want newness. I want new experiences. I want expansion. I just really was like, I give, you have the control. Take me to new heights, basically. And I'm really happy I did that, and I know that that was a very fated point as well. I was living in New York City and just kind of started getting very stagnant, and there was always growth, but I felt like I was working more than I was getting back. And so I asked Spirit, like, look, I'm ready for the next thing. I'm ready to change, I'm ready to move. I also was freezing in New York City, and I was like, I'm ready to leave New York City. And so basically, shortly after that, so many sudden situations occurred that I moved within about 2 or 3 months of saying that. No, I moved in April. So within 4 months of saying that, um, I completely had left New York City. It was insane, okay? And I thought that it was going to be a quick transition. But what I'm realizing is I'm going through this major transformation phase. It's a very deep alchemical phase. And it happens, in life when you're asking for elevation, you have to go through tests. You have to be tested. And so I definitely have felt that Spirit has been putting me through tests, and Spirit has been, I've been able to heal so much, so much um, from my past, and any shame, any guilt that I was holding on is now gone. I know myself so much more. I've had so much time, and the main thing about it is I've been very isolated this past year, and that's another sign of the divine kind of taking you and molding you into where your path is. Okay. Anytime you ask for something, you go through the process of getting prepared for what you asked for, and so through that, though, I was thinking, and I've been reflecting a lot with this Mercury, retrograde coming up in Pisces, and it's been really getting the collective really focused on the past, but the lessons from the past. I feel like everybody's kind of looking back on life lessons, okay, and and basically, I was looking back and thinking on this journey that I've been on this past year, and I realized, I'm like, it seems to have happened in phases. You get what I'm saying? And I was able to kind of pinpoint it in 3 main phases. Okay. And this also happened. I was doing this as well when I was taking a shower, because I was thinking of, like, I had a moment of just kind of like being really tired of this process, because it is very isolating. Healing is difficult. And I'm like, when is this healing going to be over? When is the next phase going to come in? That kind of thing. And I got kind of down. And I told myself, well, I can't move from this position. Clearly, Spirit wants me here to heal. So let me not hold on to the past. Like, let me act like today is the first day of me being down here. Like, I have a fresh start. Okay. And I was able to do that by sectioning off. Like, when I first came down, the healing process was a certain way. The experiences I was going through were a certain way. I felt a certain way. The lessons I was being put through were a certain type. Then it shifted, and the lessons changed for a few months. It's about 4 months each. And then it changed, okay? And now, the past 2 months ish, 3 months, it's been a different focus, okay? And a different shift. And I noticed, I was like, this seems to be a main theme in all this is not the first process of isolation, transformation that I've been through. Okay. Before I moved to New York City, there was one. Before I came out of the closet, there was one. Before any major elevation, you kind of go through testing. And I was looking back and I was like, on all those processes, I went through these same three phases. And when I was looking at in the three phases, remind me of the triple goddess. Okay, and if you don't know much about the triple goddess, and the theme of the triple goddess, it talks about um, the maiden, the mother, and the crone. Okay, talking about the three different archetypes of the divine feminine. And this is seen a lot in so much mythology throughout history. There's so many divine beings that we talk about and worship and that kind of thing throughout time, who have, some of them have three different, images. Some of them have three different personalities, but the theme of three is very, very prevalent through all of the, well, not all of them, but many of the goddesses. Okay, and it talks about, and for me, I think that all those stories and things are a reflection of life. You know what I'm saying? And since we all hold divine feminine energy within us, why can't we not experience those three phases? And I realize as well, that's really a lot of how healing goes. It goes through phases. There's like a lot of psychologists talk about is it 5 stages of grief? However many stages of grief. We've gotten research into how healing happens in phases. Okay, but I was looking and I was like, well, let me throw a little spirituality into it and a little occult into it, and add the triple goddess theme, because I feel like spirit puts us through healing in 3 phases. Okay, and so this also made me think about the Lgbtq community. I want to down the line do a workshop on how to incorporate astrology into LGBTQ community. Not like how to incorporate it, but like there's not really any pages at all that speak on, sometimes in Sinistry talks about, like, literally when you put it in, it says, are you a man, woman? Are you into man, woman? But it doesn't do it in relation to if you're not just binary with heterosexual male, heterosexual female. You get what I'm saying? Like, for me personally, I have a lot of feminine energy, and a lot of goddesses visit me, and I'm working strongly with Lilith right now. And so I feel that even though I am a man, I am here to bring a lot of the divine feminine energy through. Okay, and I'm just interested with that. I want to, let me know, LGBTQ community or people, allies as well, if you're interested in. I want to maybe do a video before I do the workshop, just kind of talking about different things I've noticed with, homosexuality, bisexuality, whatever, fluidity, and whatever sexuality, but how it relates to astrology. And not like necessarily looking at your chart and seeing, oh, are you gay? And that's not necessarily the vibe I'm thinking about, but more how to use astrology and for it to help people that are not in that set heterosexual relationship. You get what I'm saying? So that's kind of to the side. But I thought of that because I'm experiencing this triple goddess theme, and usually you would think it would be women that would go through the triple goddess theme. Okay, but I do feel like I'm possessing a lot of the divine feminine energy, even though I am in the male body. Okay, so the triple goddess theme is, you have first you have the maiden. Okay, and this is about new beginnings. This represents kind of like the new moon phase, the crescent waxing phase of the moon, even the first quarter square of the moon. It's about new initiatives, new growth, new experience, youth, sexuality, expression, artistry, beauty. It's about learning lessons and the fertility. It's a very fresh kind of energy. Okay. And I noticed that when I first came down here, that's what I felt. It was like I was back home in a new place. I was adjusting. I was taking time to release, what I had just left. But I was dreaming of new things. I had a very open mind as to what could happen. And that happens a lot in healing. You have this freshness, this newness, this new experience, this openness. Okay. And then I noticed that healing kind of started to shift, and it moved into the mother phase, okay? And this is the phase that is about the full moon culmination. This is the phase about nurturing. You know, I even during this phase, once I was down for a while, started taking care of more plants. Okay, and really was sitting outside, and deer were visiting me. I don't know if you were back in following me back in August and September and July, that kind of thing. But I was in nature more and connecting more, and I was getting major realizations and culminations and understanding. And major healing was happening, and full moons are also about release, and major releasing was happening. Um, and it's about, you know, the time of realization that gives you wisdom. Okay, so you go through all that experience in the maiden, and then you get to the mother phase, and it's about putting that to work, you know, getting answers from that, getting realizations from that. Okay, and I think that that phase, you know, that full moon culmination phase, the middle phase of the triple goddess, is a really strong. That's when a lot of the healing goes on. That's when you really take a lot of time to really feel. Again, the full moon is a time when your emotions are heightened, so you really can tap into your intuition. This is really a time of tuning in your skills as well. Okay, learning more about yourself. Pruning, I really feel like is the I learned a lot, and I've been researching a lot about spiritual pruning. How, you know, when you're asking for more, spirit will put you through pruning and prune away, you know, certain things that are not abundant within you or low vibration, and purify you. Okay, that's transformation. That's alchemy. It's this purification we go through. And so I think that a lot of the purification, a lot of the releasing, a lot of the answers, a lot of the you know, that fullness happens. A lot of the pruning, you know, when you're gaining more and learning more about yourself, learning what you do like, learning what you don't like, you know, that is that mothering phase. And then there's an end phase, and it's that Crone Phase, which is the wise one. It's the balsamic phase of the moon, the releasing part of the moon, the wise part of the moon. It's the moon that's been through things, you know. It's the wise woman that's been through things, that knows cycles, you know, that has this history, has this wisdom. And that's when you kind of put periods on things, you know, you have conclusions in life. When you're healing, you notice that in the Crone phase, I feel like that's what I'm in now. The triggers don't trigger you anymore, you know. You realize how much growth you've had. You realize that you can finally separate from the traumas, from the pains. You know, it's the time of rest as well, and peace, and release and surrender, okay? It's the time when you're like, okay, I've been through this healing, but now I don't necessarily know how I'm going to get to the next step. It's time to surrender. It's time to just see what happens, okay? So that's this last phase, you know, this Crone phase. When you notice the wisdom, you notice the new strength. You start to feel your new self. You start to feel this new life. Really start to really plan and see the new future. But you're still waiting for that next kind of maiden phase to come in. So that's what I had. I don't know if that, you know, I really want to share that because maybe you've noticed that as well. And I think it's a connection. I really do think that we heal in phases, and I really like the you know, to think that it happens in the triple goddess phase. So if that's interesting you, even look up more about the triple goddess. Comment below. Let me know how your healing process happens. Is it like instant, or do you feel like it happens in phases? You know, I don't know. You know, I like to share. You know, like I'm always processing and thinking and putting the pieces together and trying to connect some dots. So yeah, let me know what you think, guys. I wanted to share that. That's what I have. Much love. Talk to you later. Deuces.